The day I turned 30, with 50 guests smiling at me, I discovered the party was no longer mine. It had become something else. A courtroom. And I, the birthday girl, had become the judge, jury, and executioner. No one there, especially him, had any idea that the verdict was already sealed. The gift I was about to give myself didn't come in a box with a bow. It was the truth, naked and cruel, projected onto a 100-inch screen for everyone to see. This is the story of how my dream birthday party became my liberation. If you love stories where justice is served cold, hit that like button and subscribe, because you won't believe how this ends. Our story was 7 years old. 7 years of framed photos, family dinners, and whispered promises in the middle of the night. I was always the planner, the one who remembered the dates, the one who built the bridges. He was the dreamer, the one who promised a grand future that would one day arrive. And I believed him. To celebrate my 3 decades of life and the strength of our relationship, I decided to throw the biggest party we could imagine. It was a milestone, a turning point that, ironically, turned out to be far more literal than I thought. The venue was an elegant hall with floor-to-ceiling windows, something I had dreamed of for a long time. It was expensive. I paid for every single cent with the money from a bonus I received after working nights and weekends for 6 straight months. He thought it was an exaggeration. We could use that money for something else, he said. But I insisted. It was to celebrate our story, to show everyone how happy we were. Every chair, every floral arrangement, every item on the menu was chosen and paid for by me. It was my gift to us, my best friend, the woman I'd already chosen in my head to be my maid of honor at a wedding that would never happen, was my right hand in all the planning. Or so it seemed. In the week leading up to the party, she started acting strange, insistent. She wanted to know the schedule for everything with an almost military precision. What time does the catering arrive? And the DJ? Are you sure the venue will be open at 5 p.m.? In my naivety, I thought it was just her being thorough, the care of a friend who wanted everything to be perfect. It was the first sign, a silent alarm that I chose to ignore. The day arrived. I was at the venue all afternoon, coordinating everything. He arrived an hour before the guests, saying he was there to help with the final touches. He was tense, his phone an extension of his hand. 20 minutes later, my best friend showed up. I came to help too, she said with a smile that I now know never reached her eyes. She was wearing a strong perfume, too sweet, one I had never smelled on her before. They barely looked at each other. Their conversations were short, monosyllabic. There was a strange electricity in the air, a tension I couldn't name. 15 minutes remained before the first guests were due to arrive. The final touch was the slideshow, a collection of our photos from the past 7 years that would play on a projector during my speech. The sound technician had already connected everything. His laptop was on the table, ready. "I'm just going to test the photo order," I said. He just nodded, too busy answering a text. I opened the laptop, and on the screen, the photo folder was open. But my eyes were drawn to something else. To the small recent files window in the corner of the operating system. Right in that moment, the plan was born. And if you want to see exactly how I executed my revenge in front of everyone, make sure you're subscribed and have hit that like button, because the best part is just about to start. There it was. A video file, named with a code that meant nothing. IMG 9874, move. My heart didn't race. It stopped. For an instant, the world went completely silent. The hum of the air conditioning, the distant voices of the catering staff, everything disappeared. There was only the click of my finger on the mouse. The video opened. The quality was from a phone, the image a bit shaky, but the scene was unmistakable. The parking lot of this very same venue, recorded maybe an hour earlier. He was there, and so was she, my best friend. What happened in the next few seconds needs no description. It was a filmed act of betrayal, raw and devastating. I closed the video. There were no tears. There was no scream caught in my throat. What I felt wasn't sadness. It was a clarity that froze my soul. I looked at him, across the hall, laughing at something on his phone. I looked at her, fixing her hair in the reflection of a window. In that second, the woman who had spent a year planning a birthday party died. And in her place, a strategist was born. The pain turned into fuel. The humiliation turned into a script. I moved the video file to a discrete folder. I opened the presentation software. With perfectly steady hands, I dragged the video to the very end of the sequence of happy photos. The last slide. The grand finale. The guests began to arrive. 50 familiar faces. Friends, family. I hugged each one. I smiled. I thanked them for their gifts. I was the perfect actress on the stage of my own disaster. I hugged my mother, who told me how proud she was. I hugged his father, who called me his daughter. And then, I hugged the two traitors. "You look beautiful," he whispered in my ear. "Happy birthday, friend. You deserve all the best," she said, handing me a box. The hypocrisy was so thick I could taste it. A bitter flavor in my mouth. I just smiled. "Thank you." The night is just getting started. While everyone mingled and got drinks, I made a single detour. A quick word with the sound tech. I want to make sure the audio from the laptop is also connected for the final video. It's a surprise. He gave me a thumbs up. It was time for the speech. The lights dimmed. A soft spotlight found me on the small stage. I took the microphone. 50 pairs of eyes on me. In the front row, he and she sat side by side, like a king and queen at my funeral. The slideshow began on the giant screen. The first photo, the two of us 7 years younger, on our first date. Nostalgic laughter filled the room. The photos cycled through, a chronicle of our life. Trips, Christmases, past birthdays. With each image, I felt a piece of the past disintegrating inside me. I began to speak. "Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. 30 years. It's a milestone. An age where you start to understand what really matters in life." My gaze was fixed on them. You learn about loyalty, about what it means to build something with someone, brick by brick, based on trust. You learn that trust is a gift, the most fragile and the most valuable of all. He was smiling, thinking it was a declaration of love. She was staring at her nails. The air in the room began to grow heavy. The smiles in the audience became a little more tense. We also learn about friendship. I continued, my voice as steady as steel, about those people who become our family, the ones who hold our hand, the ones who are supposed to have our back. The slideshow of happy photos ended. The last image of the two of us smiling in front of the deed to our future house faded away. The screen went black for a second. An expectant silence filled the venue. And then, the video from the parking lot began to play, without sound. Just the image, raw, undeniable, projected nearly 10 feet high. The sound that followed was a wave, a collective gasp, a shudder of shock. I saw his parents, their faces twisting into a mask of shame and disappointment. I saw my friends, mouths agape, their eyes darting from the screen to me, then to the two culprits in the front row. The color drained from his face. He looked like he'd seen a ghost. She just froze, her face as pale as wax. The video continued on a silent loop, their betrayal replaying infinitely. The visual humiliation was total. But I wasn't finished yet. I raised the microphone again. My voice now was cold and lethal. "I'd like to thank you both for the only birthday gift that truly matters, the truth. And since we're in the spirit of gift giving, I have one more piece of news." I paused, savoring the moment. The 2-week trip to Cancun, our early honeymoon package that I paid for with the rest of my bonus, the one that I now know you two were planning to enjoy, is canceled. In fact, the confirmation email for the full refund to my credit card arrived exactly 10 minutes before I stepped on this stage. I gently placed the microphone on the floor. The sound reverberated through the sepulchral silence. I turned my back on the audience, on my old life, on the wreckage of what I thought was love and friendship. And I walked out. I didn't run. I walked out of my own courtroom, head held high, leaving the trash behind to be judged by the others. That night, I didn't cry. I slept a deep, dreamless sleep for the first time in months. The next day, I blocked 50 phone numbers. I sold my share of everything we owned, moved apartments, and 2 months later, I used the refunded travel money to tour Italy, alone. As for him and her, I heard through the grapevine that they became social outcasts. They lost their circle of friends, their dignity, and it seems each other. The public shame was a poison their illicit passion couldn't survive. Today, I know that the best revenge isn't an act of anger. It's an act of removal. It's removing yourself from any equation where you aren't valued. I learned that sometimes the most liberating birthday gift you can ever receive and give yourself is the courage to take out the trash. With or without an audience, if this story resonated with you, hit the like button and share it. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories where dignity is non-negotiable.